Greetings, and welcome to the Clouded Out audio blog. Today we are going to start our last and final part of the Types of U.S. economic thought series, a comparison of modern theories. In the last video, we discussed the various theories of the most popular economists, and why they are renowned to this day. In this video, we will compare and contrast those theories, seeing how Keynes, Hayek, and Friedman are not only different, but similar as well. Before we begin, go ahead and comment down below who your favorite economist is and how they might compare with today's economy. In previous videos, we have seen how classical economic theory has shifted into the progressive hybridized laissez-faire form of modern economic theory known today. Though many economists have had their hand in the influence of this transition, the most notable are Keynes, Hayek, and Friedman. An overview of their thoughts has been presented previously, but it is important to compare and contrast their views between each other. Despite their numerous disagreements, there is actually quite a bit of overlap on a variety of topics such as government's involvement in things such as markets, monetary policy, fiscal policy, and stimulation of the economy. But when it comes to markets, how do these three economists fare? To define markets, it is essentially measuring to what degree government has its hand in the areas of exchange, or the openness to buy and sell goods and services, and property rights. People's property is protected. In comparing the ideals of the notable economists when it comes to markets, it is the Keynesian theory versus those of Friedman and Hayek. Keynes believed that governments should feel compelled to involve themselves within the markets. He felt that they were not self-balancing or self-regulating, and that their decisions needed to be guided by the government to avoid adverse effects, such as the downward spiral of declines in consumer spending. Conversely, Hayek and Friedman felt that not only were markets self-correcting, but theorized that government involvement within the market turned normalized adverse conditions into consequential disasters, such as those experienced as a result of government intervention in the Great Depression with the New Deal. In short, Keynes was all for government intervention in the markets, versus Keynes and Friedman, who wanted little to no government intervention whatsoever. And what about monetary policy? Monetary policy is essentially the outlining of possible actions able to be taken by a nation's central banks to affect the rate of growth of its money supply, which ultimately affects interest rates and inflation rates. These actions include modifying the interest rates directly, buying or selling government bonds, and changing the amount of money in circulation, which are designed to lower unemployment, boost private sector borrowing and consumer spending, and foster economic growth. In this facet of economic theory, each economist, Hayek, Keynes, and Friedman, virtually stand alone. Though they agree on goals, they disagree sharply on priorities, strategies, targets, and tactics. Hayek is opposed to monetary policy altogether, theorizing that the controlling of a nation's money supply is what causes the boom and bust cycles of businesses in the first place. Keynes supposed that altering the supply of money does little in terms of stimulating the economy or affecting aggregate demand. He would much rather focus on the government spending money to promote economic prosperity. Friedman, however, thought that by controlling the nation's money supply, it can help smooth recessions as it affects short-term economic activity and long-term prices of goods and services. In short, Hayek believes in no government alteration of the money supply at all. Keynes believes that the government alteration of money supply does very little, and Friedman feels that the government alteration of the money supply at least helps smooth the recessions. When it comes to fiscal policy, it is thought that the government spending and tax policies influence macroeconomic conditions, including aggregate demand, employment, inflation, and economic growth, which is believed to stabilize the business cycle and regulate economic output. Keynes stands alone on this issue, thinking that government spending, even deficit spending, which is virtually spending money the government does not have, is favorable to prop up the aggregate demand in order to offset the high unemployment, which in turn will foster economic growth. Comparatively, both Hayek and Friedman adamantly disagreed with Keynes' notions. Though Hayek displayed a stronger stance than Friedman against the government's role in fiscal policy, they both agreed, and was later proven through empirical evidence, that Keynesian policy only makes times of economic strife or bust much more difficult and inflammatory. While Keynes' ideas were first to be instituted during the Great Depression, many have come to see expansionary monetary policies and too low interest rates as malincentives and main drivers of the financial crises in general, and in the subprime market crisis in particular. In short, Keynes believed that government spending and aggregate demand are correlated together and are the main driver in the growth of an economy. However, Hayek and Friedman believed that government spending has adverse and opposite effects on the economy than those proposed by Keynes, and therefore opposed government intervention in fiscal policy altogether. How do these economists feel about the forced stimulation of an economy? When it comes to stimulating the economy or using government interaction to modify the monetary and fiscal policies leading to consumer spending and lower unemployment, Hayek stands alone. Hayek believes that government intervention in the free market, in the ways of stimulus packages and inflation, only sows the seeds to the next bust, resembling a fake recovery. The usage of monetary and fiscal policies is likened to a drug user looking for their next fix. Instead of going through the recession and seeking treatment to wean themselves off the drugs, they instead get another dose and hope it does the job. While everyone knows that enduring the real pain of the withdrawal, though painful at first, pays dividends in the end by becoming sober. Keynes and Friedman, on the other hand, believe they can boost economic growth by such things as stimulus packages and controlling inflation rates, respectively. Keynes and Friedman simply believe in different methods to obtain the same goals of economic growth. In short, Hayek believes that the free market is self-correcting and that no government interference is needed to boost economic growth. However, Keynes and Friedman believe that government intervention is needed at least at some level, either fiscally or monetarily, respectively, to motivate the economic growth. To wrap things up, the economic landscape of today's United States is a hodgepodge of Austrian and Keynesian theories. Many attribute today's economy to Friedman's thoughts and enacted policies under Reagan. Friedman is kind of an amalgamation of both Austrian and Keynesian schools of economy. In one respect, he is wholly Austrian, and in the other he is wholly Keynesian. There are still plenty of economists today who follow both Hayek's and Keynes' points of view. However, our government and economy of the United States today more closely resembles the Keynesian styles overall. From numerous agencies which oversee so many facets of business, many of which are remainders from the days of President FDR, to the more modern infringements such as the stimulus packages, quantitative easing, and bailouts of too-big-to-fail private companies and banks, lead the U.S. farther and farther away from the laissez-faire principles. Though there have been slight shifts in the approaches to the United States' role in the economy throughout history, such as during the Reagan administration, switching slightly from Keynesian to Austrian, many of the policies instituted today have set the U.S. on the wrong economic track. While the government today forces record-low interest rates, creates trillions of dollars out of thin air, tops record-breaking deficit spending, and suffocates the rights and innovations of businesses, the Keynesian principles instituted will surely lead to another Great Depression. Because not only has history been ignored, the government has doubled down. We the people are living in a swamp fostering the growth of all things bad for our economy. While tax cuts may be great for many, it is felt they are too little, too late. So how do you feel about the economy today? Is it headed in the right direction? Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can read this article, along with many others, as well as see their sources on cloudofdoubt.com. To be notified of our blog posts, you can subscribe on cloudofdoubt.com, or you can follow us on a variety of other social media platforms, such as Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, and Minds.com. The links are down below in the video description. If you have any comments about this video, comment below. We'd love to hear what you have to say. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you would like to be notified when new videos are posted, please subscribe and enable notifications. All of this helps YouTube know that this is quality content that you like and enjoy, and it will recommend videos like these to viewers like you. Stay tuned for the next video, and we look forward to seeing and hearing from you in the future. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay informed.